Hey, what's going on, everyone? Let me know if y'all can hear me. Okay, just setting this up for what's me and my guest. So, all right. So I started it out yesterday. Yesterday was Sunday, and I spoke about that of Donald Trump bringing up that we should protect black jobs. Now that I did get a lot of feedback from that. I did. Some good, some bad. I can't ever tell anybody how to feel. That's not my job. My job is to simply I bring up the topic, I talk about it, and we go from there. Okay? So I'm not going to ever demonize you guys, but I definitely want to have the conversation. And this is something that I'm willing to have because this is very much so that needs to be brought up. This is under no the rest of hate. This is under no the rest of oh my gosh, like here we go talking about the group. No. We want to know about that of and for Black America. And you know, people say, well, is there a Black America? Yes, there is. There's a white America. There's a subculture of white America, Latin America, Asian America, Pacific Islander America. Old bot people felt pandered to. Oh boy, people felt pandered to. Okay. Oh, okay. We're going MOT. I definitely want to have the conversation. Like we're not doing no trolling, but we want to have the conversation about this. This is not no. We're talking straight politics and history. That's it. Politics, history, and current events. Now, I hear always that of jobs. Let me drop that down. But is this something that we need to be focused on that of jobs, or no? Is this something that we need to be angry about that he brought up that of, hey, black jobs need to be protected, or nah, it's not really a thing. Now, for me, I don't see a problem. I don't see a problem of that bringing up that, hey, yes, jobs need to be protected. I don't see a problem with, I know certain areas, whether you've been in the South or the North, that predominantly a lot of blacks are in those industries or fields. What I do see a problem is that, was it, what was the outrage about? What was the outrage? So, hang on, let me grab my co-host. We are definitely.
What's up, guys?
What's
What's up,
going on?
everybody?
What's going on, Super Mike? What's going on, Cyrus? Like I said, I definitely look forward to doing more work.
I'm gonna go
with this
silent.
brother.
I'm doing an order real quick.
That's fine. But I would like to know, I would like to know because we definitely seen boycotts where certain blacks refused to go to work, the economy crashed. So you can't say or deny history that guess what? That we weren't working. You can't say that. You can't say our presence in America is not going to be felt for either men or women. I see it when I go to the VA, when I go down to certain government buildings. You ain't going to just say, oh, all we do is minimum wage jobs. No, we don't. We're in a lot of government social contract jobs. That means law enforcement, criminal justice, medical field. I go to the ER. If you go to the ER tonight, I can promise you, you will be bumping into quite a few black men and black women, either at the front desk, either at doing the maintenance, either at checking in.
Right.
So y'all can't say we haven't been in the medical field, law enforcement,
Everything.
construction, everything.
It's crazy.
So
Telling you.
I pass it over to my co-host. We already know you heard what was said on a political field. Was that offensive that Donald Trump said when he brought up we should protect black jobs? Or
No.
that should have been offensive?
See, no, it's definitely not offensive, because the thing is, a lot of these people just want to win a political campaign. And that's the problem. And so they got to make it offensive. Sorry.
Mm.
Yeah, they got to make stuff offensive. Fake, this politics is just so fake. That's why I don't understand people who get into this politics for real. They really all into it. It's fake. I mean, especially at the national level. Now, at your local level, there's stuff that, laws, zoning. There's a lot of stuff that you can do directly. There's a lot of problems that you can solve.
Right.
But when you get into these national elections, big ones, billions of dollars going into it, you're really not you're not dealing with something that's really legitimate where you're actually, it's just not real to me. So it's more like NFL. If they say like the black job situation, to me, to be real, that is the first president that I can think of, in our lifetime. You know how they say, oh, you cannot give something only for black people.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Most people say, oh, it's political suicide to say, oh, nobody can say they're going to do something just for black people. It has to be for everyone. Now, you can do something just for Jews, or you can do something just for these other groups of folks, like, other peoples, right?
Right.
But not black people. That's suicide. So Donald Trump actually, he basically threw an actual tangible bone. A job is actually a resource. And then he's not only saying just a job for one. No, he says a black job or job for black people. Think about that. Come on, I'll tell you straight up, like Trump, I'm never going to lie myself. See, I don't. One of the things about black folks, to me, it's a little bit so nice. Then we all. I don't think that's smart. So something right. Hey, that right.
You're breaking up, brother.
Like now.
Mike, you're breaking up.
You hear me?
Yeah, you're breaking up a little. Yeah, I can hear you. Let me. I'm with you. I'm with you. Get a little bit. I got you.
Okay.
Like, so, but I agree with Mike. Like, okay, so first off, you're hearing it where a white man with influence, whether y'all like it or not, brought up a valid point. He did. He said, "Hey, I don't know about y'all, but y'all black people, y'all jobs are getting taken." Now, for me, I'm like, "Oh snap! What's going on, Maurice? What's going on, Maurice?" I'm like, "Oh snap! A white billionaire talking about damn somebody taking job for granted." Listen, I make money, but he brought up a valid point. He said, "Shit, y'all jobs are getting taken." What was out of pocket in saying that? Nobody had no smoke when the coal miners came out there towards Hillary Clinton and different other constituents to say, "Hey, somebody's stealing our jobs, or y'all shutting down our mills, or y'all doing this and that." What's the problem? You had it with certain other groups. Oh, why are the black getting all those stuff to go to school? I want to understand it, and shout out to my brother, Man of Tomorrow. But this is going to because, like, I know Man of Tomorrow is a hardworking man from that of the blue collar states on up. I can never take that from him at all. Actually, my father likes his content a lot. I would like to understand if I don't trust either constituent, but I would like to know. You know what I'm saying? That for like all men and women, this should be at the tip of our tongues on talking about jobs, job placement, job accountability, and literally what kind of resources that we want implemented in. They're not talking about giving you no freebies, but hey, like, are you going to work or not? Because other groups don't mind talking about, hey, we want jobs in our area. It's either you bringing us a job or not. They don't want free handouts. They want jobs. They get the jobs, they can control their path where they want the money. But right now we have a guest, Man of Tomorrow. Like I said, oh man, I think he dropped down. And I'm going to be opening up for people to dialogue with my co-host guest. We're not asking y'all to attack them, but like somebody brought up, like, is that wrong? Because I already done seen it with Barack Obama when the transgender got up on stage. I think that's when who was it? It was that white dude, Bernie Sanders, said, "Hey, what are you gonna do about us?" Okay, so they asked the question. Every other group gets to ask a question about us. That black people, about transgenders, women, goddamn Latinos, Asians. All right, now blacks. Now they're asking you a question. Ain't got nothing to do with rapping. They ain't got nothing to do with no singing, beat bop, dancing, boop boop boop. None of that damn shit. All they ask you is, do you want to go to work? Calm down, lady. Calm down, baby. That's all they want to know. Do you want to go to work or not? Mike, go ahead. Go ahead, brother.
Okay, you hear me?
I can hear you.
Is that you can? Okay, yeah. No. I mean, you know, we're making the point. That's the point. And shout out to all the other hosts and co-hosts and everybody. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's just like, you know, I think we just need to grow up. I mean, it's just gonna take a while, but we have to start thinking in our interests. You know, I notice a lot of times black folks tend to empathize with other groups of people acting in their interests. When, you know, like, you know, right now they have like an Asian kid, 13-year-old kid that was shot by the cops. Did you hear about that?
Oh wow, when did that happen?
Y'all heard about that?
No, I didn't hear about
Well,
that.
I mean, you can look it up. It's like just, yeah. So I mean, but it's the same situation with, you know, many folks got shot. And so now the Asian community is basically doing the same the black people are doing. but they're responding differently a little bit to the Asians. So the thing is, black people, when other groups of people do things to get their interest to protect their interest, of course they're going to do that. That's their money. Of course we empathize with them, right? They're trying to make money,
Right.
right? But when
Right.
we try to do something to protect our interests, if somebody is gunning for your job, you got a contracting job, you're competing with somebody else. You're going to do something to try to get that, right? I mean, you're going to try. You might win, you might. But you're supposed to aggressively protect your source or resource. That's normal. Supposed to make it a joke. When I got black people on Facebook, the internet, making it okay to joke about taking our jobs. Do we even see what the hell is happening here? I mean, just don't understand this. It's like if somebody, they're taking your job is not a freaking joke, man. It's just insane. And then you got so-called well-to-do black folks who are saying, oh, you know, what is a black job? They're playing dumb. It's just, I think it's so insane. This is where the politics has brought us to. It's just crazy. So,
See,
can
no,
you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, brother. And see, that's the thing I don't like, the disingenuous talking point of, well, what is a black job? And I'm like, nigga, are you stupid? All this time, now all of a sudden we acting with a black job, but then they've been doing it in Hollywood, they've been doing it in movies, they've been doing it in real life. Y'all know damn well you just had it with somebody who was like, okay, remember mama and pop, you gotta make sure they stay healthy. I know plenty of black CNAs. I need plenty of aid workers, nurses, plenty of goddamn people that are in tech. We're not in there like we should be. I know carpenters, welders. I know plenty of men and women of our diaspora that are doing these jobs. Negroes, when the country shut down, guess what? Your ass is still going to work. I don't know why all of a sudden now, well, shit, what's a black job? Well, shit, you shit me.
Might be connection issues.
So y'all gonna forget that there was different boycotts that were going on back then. Now I get it. People will say, well, the minimum wage job, those are the black jobs. That's an argument brought up. Fair point. Somebody brought it up. They say, are you really fighting for those minimum wage jobs? Yes. I want every goddamn penny. I want every goddamn penny. I want every dollar. You think you can go in certain communities and open up a goddamn mom and pop shop? You think you can open up you a little t-shirt and sock thing? To see somewhere else in a franchise business, that would be considered a minimum wage type of job. But when you do it yourself, yeah, them dollars and them coins add up. Them dollars and them coins add up. The only thing different now they do it is they circulate their dollars. They circulate their money. Different groups know how to circulate their money to make it worth its while. The dollar doesn't stay as long in that of our community. We don't spend on each other like that. Now that's a topic for a different discussion. That's going to be something different. But I'm asking that of where was the insult? Where was the insult? Every other time on YouTube, we are clowning other people especially black people, about their job, doxing them about their jobs. You work for the white man. Well, so do you too, nigga. The fuck? You live in America, government. You in the same gene pool as me, bitch. The fuck? I hate when y'all do that dumb, goofy shit. You don't hear other groups saying that shit when they come to America to get certain grants and certain types of resources. Oh, that's the white man. No, they say, I'm going to go get that fucking money. Y'all crazy. I want the money too. I want to build my own goddamn empire. So you're not going to talk me off the ledge and shame me to not want to go get the money. Y'all crazy. But then you get mad when you say nobody want to hire your black ass. Nobody want to fuck with you. You got a degree, your ass is stuck at Verizon. No, I ain't trying to shame nobody, but I'm seeing a lot more of this stuff trending. You don't want to talk about it. Like, come on, man. Y'all talking about y'all want the finer things in life. Y'all want to live in nice communities. White collar, blue collar. Guess what? We got to work all them damn jobs. I've done both fields. I've been in both fields. Arguing about the dumb shit is not conducive. It is not. It is a non-conducive argument. We need more black doctors. We need more black scientists. Well, guess what? Those are building blocks that people have fought for. And this is not no dig at anybody else. Fight for your resources. Guess what? I'm going to fight for mine. I'm not fighting for no damn rappers. Oh, right. You know what's crazy about that? Weren't there arguments about, hey, man, like, we need people that are executives. We need people that know how to work the equipment and all that stuff. Guess what, man? You got to go to school for that. Got to get them papers. So here we have it, whereas to a lot of people are in a cross-off of, damn, here goes a white billionaire saying that, hey, your jobs are on the line. It gets no obvious than that when the enemy, as y'all would say, of my enemy is telling you that, nigga, you can be replaced. I want you to just think about that. But they'll hire Maria. They'll hire Ryu and Ken. They'll hire everybody else, but nigga. Nigga. They're telling you, guess what? I may not be hiring you. Now, I've done security. I don't see a lot of y'all, unless y'all are doing some other questionable things sometimes. But I'm going to be for real. When I be looking at goddamn them certain classes of people, right? Guess what? You're the least noticeable person in the room. You're not in the room, black man. When y'all get mad at white cops, well, guess what? You could have gone and been a black cop in your own community. Man, the powers that be, they won't let me be a cop. Bullshit, they'll let you be a cop. They rather you go police your own goddamn people, deal with your own women and children. They don't want to deal with y'all. Why would another man want to deal with you? He said, nah, fuck that. You go deal with your own women and children. Y'all need to learn how to deal with your own people. You definitely ain't policing no Latin community, and I know you ain't policing the Pacific Islanders. You're not policing them. They done showed y'all that shit. Y'all are not going to police their women and children. You're not going to educate them. They only want you, and you're not doing it inside the Arab communities. You're not doing no jobs inside their community. If y'all are doing jobs inside of the Arab community or the Indian community, please let me know. I know y'all gonna say, "Oh, BMT, I didn't know you were just hateful." I'm not being hateful. I am very observant of my encounters. They will never hire you as the goddamn manager of their hotels. You are only good enough just to run it while they go to sleep or on vacation. But they will never say, "Well, damn, I'm about to die. Let me go give it up. Let me go give this hotel to Keisha or Mikey." No, I'm going to give it to Ahmed. I'm not giving you shit. The fuck? Where we do that at? I done told y'all they don't pass shit on to you. They don't pass stuff on to you. And it's not their job to do that. Definitely it's not their job to do that. Now, some of y'all may not like hearing that. Damn, this is the most racist shit I've ever heard. No, this is the most realistic shit you ever will possibly hear. And you won't shame me any different. I'm not gonna hear no type of agenda talk saying that, well, BMT, man, if y'all didn't want to come at my channel, I can honestly, I'll drop the shit for y'all. But what I'm talking about is, for once, hey man, y'all can go get y'all shit together. Other groups are out there going to city council, arguing and championing about their jobs, as they should. I don't have a problem with them doing that. But
yeah, I'm here now. I know I can be heard now.
I can hear you now, brother. Loud and clear.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, I've been yapping for a while. Go ahead, MOT.
Here's the thing, man.
Go ahead.
All right. So there's no such thing as black jobs. There are jobs.
Go ahead.
And there are people who are willing to have those jobs, whether black or white. Most of these people who felt, man, I'm getting an echo.
I don't know why. Are you getting an echo? Are you on your Bluetooth?
I'm on mine. Yeah, I'm on my Bluetooth. I don't know why it's echoing.
I don't know why. I'll mute it. Go ahead.
Let me try this. Oh shit, it's all the way quiet now. All right, so there's no such thing as black jobs. And the people who felt represented by what Trump was saying, I don't even want to talk to. Period. You have to prove to me that you're up to date with the history of what's going on in this country. Not that somebody lied and said something about black jobs so that way you felt represented, so that way you can start beating the Democrats for them to do more, right? Like, I don't even want to talk to these people. They're not a part of the process. They're too far behind to keep up, to catch up. And the only thing they're doing is they're attempting to try to make it look like they're part of the process itself by trying to act like you want to be over there on the Trump side. Hey man, look. Go over there on the Trump side, organize over there on the Trump side, because everybody said that they want to be over there, but I don't see nobody over there really organizing over there, other than trying to bait us like they're going to go over there if the Democrats don't give them all that they want. But they have to keep in mind that most of the things that they want are inherently liberal. And guess who's voting against those things that are inherently liberal? The other side of the party that is not liberal, which is the conservative side. I mean, all this self-esteem talk and all this other stuff is just weak man talk. This is an actual unaccomplished men want to attach themselves to a process that they don't understand. We have been going over this conversation now for 8 years, and people still asking day one questions. And it's like, dude, you gotta kick these people out of the conversation. I'm not even trying to hear anything that they have to say at this point, because there are no jobs that Latinos have that black people have decided that they was going to crash the boards to rush into. Nobody's trying to pick them tomatoes or almonds or any of that stuff out in California or Alabama. Nobody's trying to pick them watermelons or cucumbers or tomatoes in these fields. Okay? Sunflower County in Mississippi, which is where most of the crops are grown, in the Delta, I don't see any black people going after those jobs. And I never have. I mean, we did when we were growing up, but we were young ass kids. But once we got our ability to be able to leave, we actually did other things. Like, I don't see in Hernando, Mississippi, people showing up for those chicken jobs at those chicken plants out there. I don't see it in Colorado either, in the meatpacking district in actual Commerce City, Colorado. I don't see that stuff. I see unaccomplished men who are not part of the process, who's trying to crash the boards and trying to sabotage the process for everybody else. That's all I see.
Do you think it's a tactic that the Republicans are using to gain blacks who are just upset for nothing on their side? What's your thoughts
These
on that?
black people are not part of the process. They ain't voting any damn way. They're not voting at all. They only want something for free. They're trying to act like they're on both sides. They're not a legitimate part of this process. If you knew everything about history, you wouldn't need to be convinced of anything. The only thing that they're doing is acting like they're down. Okay, let's say the southern bloc of the United States, this is wholly conservative. Let's say you overperform in that area. What has actually happened? Nothing, because the conservatives already run those areas, and they don't give you anything down there anyway. And I don't want to hear from these pro-blacks, the fake ones, who are actually part of these high crime areas like Philadelphia, St. Louis, Chicago. I don't want to hear from them either. If you decided to set up how you're going to fight for things in this country in some of the worst areas on the actual United States, I have nothing to say to you. Nothing at all. Only thing they're here to do is grift out the collective pain and non-participation of black people and not pick up the things. And they don't understand. You're not going to leverage other people's participation in other states as actual progress in your state. That's not how that works. A lot of people think that there's going to be this Brown versus Board of Education effect. Like if somebody get UBI in one area, they're going to get it in another. Texas showed you. Yes, they're trying out UBI in Colorado, but guess what happened when they tried in Texas? The government stepped in and they shut it down. You don't hear anybody. Go ahead.
Could you educate them what UBI is? Could you educate them, brother, and what UBI is?
Universal basic income, which is only means that I'm a grown ass human being, and since I don't want to produce, I'm going to need a minimum amount of money to be able to live because I do not want to produce on my own. That's what that means. Now, there are people who's covered for that. People on Social Security, people on disability, they got legitimate reasons. A lot of these able-bodied men not covered under that. And we have to get these non-productive, sorry-ass men from pretending like they're one of us. They're not one of us. They're one of them. They're one of these strange-ass rural American voters who self-esteem is caught up in the process itself. Because that's how you get pandered to. Self-esteem. Pandering helps self-esteem. Pandering isn't substance. And artificially holding your own self hostage and not really taking advantage of actual opportunity in this country isn't going to get any better with a conservative in charge. Isn't going to get any better if this system fails the way that it is going to fail. Okay? We got to get these non-productive people away from us. And the women who feel like they need to be protected by these non-productive men. I don't care about them either. Actually, I care very less about them. But they depend on these weak-ass men to come through with these weak-ass arguments. And I'm just tired of it at this point. I'm tired of it. In Colorado, the more you do for these people, the less they show up. Before there was actual free bus passes used for any reason. You just have to prove that you're actually going to school that is funded from the Community College of Aurora if you're in Arapahoe County, or if you're in the city county of Denver. You know what happened when black people had access to that? Less of them showed up to vote. How stupid you think we looked fighting for all that stuff? And you know who used it? Latino. I can no longer help these people. They're not a part of our group. All these complaints are coming from people who are not part of the process.
Now, okay, so when you bring it up, so you're bringing in some fire, some heat on that. And I asked the question about that, the black jobs that are being pulled, that are being brought in when Trump said, black people, you need to fight for black jobs. Is this something that is counterintuitive towards that or what the Republican Party believes in, or no? Like,
I mean,
this
the
is something
Republican
that,
Party don't even believe in jobs that pay a living wage. The Republican Party is consistently against raising the minimum wage. So what, like, this is what I mean by the word quote unquote black jobs. That requires a whole discussion about itself. What black jobs is he talking about? Other than being an opportunist, you know, that's a black job, you know, pretending like, you know, like you're Byron Donalds and you're going into this black barber shop and you're trying to talk to these dudes about what's going on. Like, okay, I guess, but these skill trades and all that stuff is underrepresented because these jobs are for everybody. This is a highly competitive marketplace. A lot of these people think that these people coming to this country are exposing the fact that they haven't did shit with their own life. They kept artificially making their life worse so that way they can qualify better for reparations, and then they wasn't even fighting for that properly. So there is no such thing as black jobs. They're just jobs that you don't qualify for. When I got out of the military, I had no skills, man. My only skills was law enforcement. And I had to go from not having skills to having skills. And that is a process that I had to do. And there were people who did the same thing. I didn't see a whole bunch of people beside me when I was in that school, man. I didn't see a bunch of people beside me when I was going to summer school. I seen a bunch of people having fun. I didn't see a whole bunch of people putting in the work, man. I just didn't. Now, women get to pick the men whenever they become ripe in their actual productivity. Now, men want to pick ripened women at the head of their productivity and not bringing anything else to the table. Just like the wrong type of woman want to be part of the black family because she has nothing but skin color to offer. We have the wrong type of black man who want to be considered part of the black family because he has no productivity and the only thing he has to offer is skin color as well. So we got two different large groups of personnel that we need to excise from the conversation, because you got to tell me what career field that you're a part of before you start telling me about these complaints about black jobs. And you better not tell me that you're 30 and 40 something years old, that you're bagging groceries or you're still working minimum wage. I don't want to talk to you at all, period. I don't want shit. I don't want nothing to talk to you about. We ain't got nothing in common. At the end of the day, you should have moved to higher waters. Now your ass is drowning. Not our job to come save you.
now, why do you think that now, because you brought up something, and I've heard stories about that, of what's going on down there in Alabama, Mississippi. These are heavily conservative areas. Well, why aren't they doing stuff for the American Negro, or is that just they don't know how to do those skills, those jobs? Like, what is it about it that are they just not educated enough? So what's the problem?
No, I mean, like they don't have a strong workforce center that teaches you those type of things like they do in other states. Other people transplant from other places. They come there and they learn the actual skill set. Since most black people can't work together because of, the actual low principled black male within this actual environment, they don't want to train up on anything. And as soon as you bring these dudes around, they come in and they sack your actual business. They steal stuff. They do all this type of other stuff. So it's just much easier to work around other men that's actually men, not actual people who want to pretend to be men. I don't want to team up with these personnel at all. It's either you bring your principal to the table, we could be able to work together. We're going to send you out of town. Like right now, I'm working with church organizations in the South right now, pulling them out the South, bringing them up to the Midwest, skilling them up, get a job, work for a couple months to an actual year. Then you bring your ass right back down there and you put in place and put in position. We've been doing that stuff for like 10 years now. Most of it I've been funding, but the rest of it has been done through various members of my actual class that I went to school with. All PhDs, by the way. 95% women, by the way. There are no men that are part of this. Probably me and another guy, but that's it. All these other people want to sit down there and they want to wait to be caught up in collective forgiveness or waiting on reparations that's never coming through the Mississippi legislature. You got to save who you can, man. A lot of these people deserve to fail. They deserve these UPI skyscrapers that they're going to be staying in.
So what should be said when they're told that, hey, black people, it's the immigrants that are stealing your job? You should be angry with them.
I mean, those arguments work with stupid people. I mean, they work with stupid white rural rural people. It's been working for 150 years. Hell, they taught white rural America to go fight a war on the behalf of corporate America to keep other people enslaved at the actual behest of them actually having a chance at a job in society. Like, those people are born serfs. At the end of the day, I don't want to talk to unskilled labor. I don't want to talk to unskilled individuals who haven't lived up there to their masculine responsibility. Okay? My parents were sharecroppers. Grandparents were sharecroppers. My aunts, we're talking silent generation, they all knew how to do roofing. They knew how to do carpentry. They knew how, some of them even knew how to fix cars. The kids that they had, the born kids that they had, they didn't want to learn none of that shit. Because if they wasn't nurses or connected to the military or went out and got a union job, they clearly wasn't shit across the board. And these were most of the people impregnating all the women and soiling the actual community and destroying all the boys that was around them. So this is a generational cost bill that has come due. The chickens have come home to roost. You can't tell me that the white man has been holding you back all this time. I don't believe that. I mean, this man is pretty brown or black in complexion. They need to worry about these graham crackers and these ginger snaps that's been misleading them into thinking that somebody's going to come and clean up this mess that it's your responsibility to dodge. Listen, I'm glad the bad women are out there. You need to show us the men who are not serious. You need to show us the men who would lay down their future for a piece of ass. And I want more of these people to suffer more of these consequences, not less, in society. It's time for some pain. That's what it's time for. When your stomach starts grumbling and your ass skipped a couple of meals and you know everybody's on, what are you going to do? It's either you're going to run in the gunfire or you're going to produce like everybody else. Because right now, you don't have the excuse that you don't know somebody in another city or another town. People used to have that excuse for a while. Hey, man, with social media, you can move around any way you want to. You get these big-ass IRS checks at the end of the year because you're low income. You could have used that money to save up to move to another area if you actually wanted to. The excuses are gone. I'm not trying to hear this shit anymore from anyone because anything else is holding the conversation back. It is the age of the producer. And if your ass ain't producing, then you are clearly the problem here, not me.
Now we're hearing what people saying, hey, they're coming and like, I've been working this job for umpteen years. I'm seeing people battle over that of the entry level jobs to that of like certain type of I won't say serf jobs. I don't know if I want to call them serf jobs, but they're battling over those jobs, saying that, hey, that's not fair. Y'all are giving them to them. Like that was something that I have been working for 10 plus years. Is that a valid argument to have? Or no, they need to start readjusting their thinking process to having to go out and compete. Yeah, I don't know if I can. I think he's gone. So I love, like I said, I love when I have these types of conversations because they're not pandering for either side. You know what I'm saying? Like I live in the South, right? But I'm also gonna tell y'all that listen, man, the jobs are out there that your predecessors fought for. My daddy fought in Vietnam. My mom was out there during the women's suffrage. I think she did help out with a little bit of women's suffrage in the 80s. Hey, Yori, come up, bro. Come up, come up, come up, come up. I dropped the link. I don't know why you didn't grab it. Yori says this. Well, I would say this. If you're looking for education by going to government institutions, those institutions unfortunately aren't very effective. I will say this because I'm hearing a lot of people talking about going to STEM. Good, good, good. But the proper direction, like the proper direction, and some people say, well, BMT, I don't know if you know what you're talking about. No, listen, I know exactly what I'm talking about. Like,
1 second, let me get my headphones in.
Okay, well, go ahead, bro. Like I've been listening for years. People say, go do this. We need to get into that. We need to get in this, get in that. And I'm like, okay, I'm hearing this pep talk about go do robotics, go do this, go do that. But I'm like, man, listen, listen, I've driven up to Volvo. Y'all seen, I brought people into Mercedes. Now, I'm not gonna lie, dealing with a lot of my own people, we're very happy with, driving the forklifts or, sorting and all the other shit. Not saying that anybody's forcing you to do that, but when it comes to the lateral of competing to go up the ladder, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but it's like a hot potato game of don't put the microscope on me. But I'm like, bro, like you can move up the ladder. You actually can go do other things. Why would you want to be stuck at this one specific area? Now, maybe I'm wrong about that, but a lot of them jobs are not racially planted. Like I said, you know what I'm saying? A lot of them, like, it's either you are going to go up and say, hey, I want this job or not. Now, I heard people come up to me like, BMT, you're champion for women to get jobs. That's not fair. What about the black man or black boy? And I'm like, bro, like, what's keeping you from like getting that same job, bro? Like, they can't discriminate from you going inside that school. But maybe I'm overly stepping on people's toes about it. But MOT, do you see that where certain counterparts or Iori, do you see, like, let me ask you, Iori.
Sure.
Why do you think certain people are afraid to move up the ladder, especially for like black men? Like they bring up that, hey, certain groups are buying up gas stations, hotels, they're taking the tech jobs. Are those being shut out from black men or black women?
I mean, I guess it depends on a case by case basis, right?
Right.
The biggest thing I would say if you're going to talk about like those types of businesses, the biggest thing you're going to need is you're going to need proper credit, proper funding, proper networks to get those things done. right? Because if you're gonna, now I'm not a guy who does that in terms of the gas station stuff and whatnot.
Sure.
But knowing like commercial real estate and some of that other stuff like I do, a lot of that stuff has to do with pretty much getting your money up, getting all that stuff together, having the ability to have business credit, to leverage that, to be able to actually get things like that. And you're going to also need to have somewhat of a relationship with the seller of the business also, right? Because in order to get it, you're going to have to talk to him and kind of be able to do that. But it's possible for sure. The reason I came up actually to talk about that was somebody was talking about the tech jobs and the skill sets and stuff like that. I think that was MOT, right?
Right.
And I said something to the effect that, yeah, like the government institutions giving you a training, that's kind of a double-edged sword, because depending on where it is, it works different ways, right? Like for example, if I was to go get tech training, I wouldn't go to the government to do it, because the government, especially state and local governments, they're not as organized as they should be. So you can be sitting there waiting for tech training, waiting for grants, waiting for all this kind of stuff for 6 to 8 weeks, because when I was doing it, they were like, yeah, what basically happened is our grant providers ran out of money, so we have to get new grant providers, so you need to get on a waiting list. And basically the waiting list, you can be on a waiting list for 4 to 6 weeks until we get new grant providers. Now, that's cool if you can afford to wait that long. But if you're trying to get something done as quick as you can, and basically you're like, okay, I need to get this done between this time frame, that might not be the best way to do it. Your better deal might be to get into an online tech training platform and be able to actually do that within 2 to 3 days, get in the intake and be able to do it that way, right? So it just depends. Some of them are better than others. The ones that I was looking at were kind of, the left hand didn't know what the right hand was doing. So when it works, it works. When it doesn't, it really doesn't, and you're kind of stuck. So.
MOT,
Yeah,
you good? Yes.
What's up, MOT? I would say, to be perfectly honest with you, it depends on what you're trying to accomplish and how organized the people that you're dealing with are. So sometimes you can get in real quick. Sometimes it'll be a 4 to 6 week waiting period. And for some people that won't really work because they might need money quicker. So, yeah, it just depends.
When I was at doggone, I was trying to get people into Mercedes. I remember that. I was really trying hard to say, hey, there's a lot of guys out there, they want work. And I was told by somebody, Joe, you're doing too much. Now, he was non-black, but he said, you're doing too much. And I said, what do you mean? I said, hold up, bro. I felt a little offended about that. So what do you mean? He said, listen, you can't force a man to want to come to work. I watched your podcast thing. If they really wanted the job, why are you going to them? They should be finding you.
Right.
I couldn't argue with his logic. Because it was soundproof. That's why I stopped talking about certain jobs. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, Are they paying you to do that, or are they not? Now this was a man for the Philippines. He had a nice job, nice career. This man gets paid to travel to different other plants around the U.S. But one thing he said, stop chasing them to want to work. So is that something that even politicians should stop doing, like chasing the blacks to want to work? Or they should be saying, hey, we have jobs for you. Come get them. What's your thoughts on that?
Go ahead.
No,
Edmund.
I mean,
I'll go
I'm
after.
kind of two minds on this, because there were situations where people were so far behind to where, like me, I mean, not having a car in Mississippi can really affect your outcomes beyond high school. Can't go to college, can't go do things. Everything's sprawled out 5-6 miles away. And if you're not willing to walk that kind of distance, man, you're gonna be in a lot of trouble. This is why I'm like, okay, the public transportation aspect, because you see this stuff in the middle of nowhere in a lot of states. Because, you know, I deliver to a lot of rural America. I see a lot of, parking rides, a lot of picking up people and bringing them somewhere near to where that they are to work. I think that they should try that. And for people that works for it and the people that it don't work for. But I still think the attempt should actually be made. But the attempt of turnkey solution to all problems, only thing I do is show up, hell no. Nah, man, they got to put something in on it. You just can't walk in and solve all their problems.
All right, what's your thoughts on that, Iori? About that politicians saying, "Hey, blacks," or "Hey, Black America, I have jobs for you," or literally they shouldn't just differentiate toward just the blacks. That they should say, "Hey, if you want the job, listen, I'm not gonna. We're not begging y'all. You're gonna have to come get these jobs."
Yeah, I mean, what I would say is, to be perfectly honest with you, I I, I really don't think that we should be paying attention to what politicians say. The reason I say that is because even if the politicians are going to say they're going to do A, B, and C, the fact that they're in government and the fact that most of the time government solutions might be slower, I think you can listen
Far
to
slower.
I think you can listen to what politicians say, but you have to take it with a grain of salt because, like I said, like for example, right? When I went to the normal places to go, which a long time ago was the Workforce Partnership and the American Job Center. This was years ago, right? I would go in for an intake and they would say, "Oh, show up to this meeting on Zoom." And 3 times they didn't show up. And they're like, "Oh, well, there was a problem with Zoom, there was a problem with this, there's a problem with that, et cetera, et cetera." Then you end up going to the Workforce Partnership, and the Workforce Partnership's like, "Yeah, they're giving you the runaround." But the problem is our grant funding ran out, and technically you're going to be on a 6-week waiting list until we get more grant providers to be able to do whatever they're going to do. So what I would say is the best thing to do. Then the third way they do it is they do it through junior colleges. But a lot of the best programs, like the cloud program and all these other programs in tech, the cloud program is only usually in one school, and a lot of times it's not a permanent program. It's called a pilot program. So that means it's a test program to see how good the actual output is. And technically, when you go to those places, the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing. So what I would say is the best thing you can do is to find other solutions to this. If we're talking tech, you might actually get a better solution with online kind of study group type stuff. But the situation is you got to know where to find those. What I'm trying to say is those solutions aren't going to be there unless you really want to find them. They're just not going to come and hit you in the face, regardless whether there is some government shit on the back of it or not. Does that make sense?
No. I understand what you're saying. Like, I listen. I've been to Job Corps. That is a very. Listen, I got some stories, but I would definitely tell you, I bet like me going to Job Corps. I mean, tell me y'all do what you do, but I've been there, and I'm like, well, goddamn, like the way they showed it on the commercial versus what I'm seeing right now is not the same thing. Like, am I the only person here without a felon? Without a felony on me or a rap sheet?
Correct.
No, not saying everybody there is like that, but yeah.
Correct.
It was
grand majority.
Correct.
Go ahead.
I said the grand majority was. And they would do anything to get those people out of those communities, even if they had to get them up out of there to a different place. And, I mean, they have other programs that do that, but that's pretty much what that was there for.
But see, I was not told that. I was like, hey, you wanna get a skill or trade? Come to Job Corps, we'll pay you, get free, you get meal, this and that.
Right.
I didn't know, hey, lights out, make up your beds, we gotta do cavity check. Like, what the hell? Like, hold up, bro. Did I voluntarily put my step to one-step prison? Like, no, this is not, like, I'm not joining no gang just to learn how to do plumbing. I'm not joining y'all, whatever Haitian union you got. But hey, man, I went back home, started learning. I found this old white man who had his own backhoe and own equipment, and said, "Hey, man, be your ass here on time. I don't want to hear nothing about that CP time. I'm gonna show you how to damn doggone put down sewer pipes." Started paying me from. I went from making $17 an hour to $25 an hour. I didn't even ask for a raise. He's the one who told me, listen, boy, you gotta learn to speak up. Now, I technically don't have to give you a raise, but you didn't ask for one. But you've been here long enough. Nobody's gonna pity you. So you know how to do the job, then I'm gonna give you the money for the job. Now, I learned a valuable lesson. If you don't apply or work for that shit, they're not going to just give it to you. Was he wrong for saying it like that? Nope. He just came from that time era where if your ass wasn't good enough for the job, they weren't going to just give it to you. They weren't. They needed that said man or that woman for that job. Now, looking at that, people are looking for placement blaming. I didn't know that was a thing, but literally it's a thing. Where you look for placement blaming.
What is that?
I don't even know what that is.
Placement blaming?
Oh, I love teaching this. So placement blaming is I am where I am because you're there. You took my spot. You took my benefits. You took away my friends. You took away my rights. Now.
Oh, that kind of bullshit. Wow.
Or see, you hear it all the time. It's always been a thing. So placement blaming is saying, well, if your people weren't there, then we would have the job. See the placement blaming? Because you're in that placement or that spot, that's taking up my spot. Because Iori knows how to do that job, that's going to be a job reserved for me.
Yeah, that's some rural America foolishness. But yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
No, these are our jobs, and you took my place, and it has to be affirmative action. You could not have potentially have applied yourself. Yeah, type foolishness.
So you've been hearing it online. We heard it in different other areas. We've even heard politicians say, "Hey, if we get these two," Now, here's the thing about it. Somebody asked me, and they challenged me this on one of my podcasts. They said, "Well, if we leave, will you then go get their job?" I said, "I don't know. Then why would we leave? I, if they were if the immigrants were to leave today, would that of middle class and lower class America or upper America would they go get the job?"
No, they won't.
But we don't know that,
They won't.
MOT. We
No,
don't
I
know
do
that.
know that. I do know that because they could have had those jobs before those people came here. So it's kind of like a math equation. Listen, I'm not concerned about people who just got here sleeping on floors in schools, eating Lunchables and Capri Suns, walking past individuals who've been here their entire life. I'm not trying to listen to these people. I'm not trying to listen to them. I don't care how much their numbers are. I don't give a shit if you ever participate in democracy. The point is, you should have been out here competing. You're not going to hold the culture or the country back with your collective level of non-participation. You're going to have to get replaced. That's what it is. There is no place holding for you. Your place holding was being born here. That was your placement. And now that you don't want to do the work, and certain people are showing up now, guess what? Now you're back to the back. And yes, you want an older woman to procreate with to move these useless genes to another generation. Yeah, it's happening the way that it should have happened before. But there was a lot of people who wanted to artificially make these things worse than what it was to actually benefit off the victimhood piece. Now you don't get to see that because with increased competition, it's going to show you where you're lacking as a culture or as a personal individual. So I'm not worried about those individuals who waiting on other people to leave so that they can go get those jobs. Yeah, they can go speed up and compete with those people or move.
Iori, what's your thoughts? What's your thoughts on that, Iori? Like, do you think there's a valid anger that they should be able to have, or what's your thought?
I mean, look, I would say this. Is the anger valid by the right people? Sure. The situation is they're angry at the wrong people in the sense if you're going to be angry at the politicians and then hope that the politicians fix it, the politicians ain't here to fix nothing like that. The politicians is here to basically get their time in office and basically get what they need to get out of the system. So the situation is you're going to have to figure out independently how to get your pound of flesh out of this system. This whole thing that voting for Biden or Trump on a national level is going to fix those particular problems. I honestly don't know whether that's the way it's gonna be either way. I think most of this stuff boils down to local elections and local issues. I really don't think that any of these national politicians are really the ones that are really gonna do very much. That being said, what I will say is that if you want people to vote for you, you're really going to have to give them something now. You're not going to be able to get people to vote for you based on shaming or based on we used to vote for them for 30, 40, 50, 60 years. That's not going to probably work anymore. Because I think a lot of people are completely tuned out to political stuff, except when it comes to election time. And now people's lives are so out of whack that I don't think they're paying attention to elections the way they used to. So That's how I would answer that question.
Okay, you brought up some good. I like it with both points. Both points were brought up. That of they need something to want to work with you, and that does the need become the entitlement after a while, or is that fair? Does the need become the entitlement, or is it fair? Or is that fair to say you owe me something if you want that of my acquire? You understand? Like, so when Biden came in office, the blacks said, "Hey, now that we got you in, we want reparations." Did that not happen? Biden said,
Right.
"Hey, you need to learn how to work with your brown constituents."
Right. Right.
You know, we're playing. We're taking off the gloves. We're taking off the gloves.
Right.
And I already under. So was that fair for him to say that? Just like Trump said, "Hey, Black America, you want to make a deal?" So how's this going to work?
Yeah. I mean, look, I hear you on that.
Well, non-progression. Okay, go ahead, Ear. Sorry.
Go ahead, Emily. Yeah. Look,
Dude,
go ahead.
Our non-progression is because we wanted to only work with black people, period. That's why our non-progression is kind of based on. Our non-progression is wanting to, okay, look at online, for example. Who are the people with the largest platforms? The people who really wasn't ish before they actually came online. And people are actually interested in entertainment. And guess what? This type of nonsense is racially based, it's culturally based. And not a lot of people outside of the culture is going to be able to work with that. So you're damn right. You got to prove that you can work with other actual functional adults. You got to be able to up your game to functional adult status. And you have to prove that by working with other people. And stop wanting this black only thing that don't work. It don't provide any solutions. It provides you excuses to be stagnant. It doesn't provide you any solutions to any type of problem. So with that, I'm okay with where they are with that. Yeah, you got to prove you can work with other people. Because letting these people work with and among themselves have not given more participation to the process at all. And I would dare anybody to tell me that.
But MOT, they will say that is anti-black talk you're speaking.
Well, I mean, they exist within the anti-black framework. They don't understand that the framework to which they exist is inherently anti-black and anti-progressive. But that has been shown to be as black and progressive. The only thing they did was give a whole bunch of people platforms that they didn't deserve. It didn't really fix any type of problems or issues with anybody. So this stuff that they've been brined in, they don't even know that they're more anti-black than the actual rural constituents that they don't live around. Yes. All this nonsense that they look at, it's all about not participating and getting your full just due. They want to convince you to live like an undocumented immigrant, but have the greatest expectation like a full-blown citizen. Like you can't have both of those things at the same time. I'm sorry. And I'm sorry, your first fight is whether you got your stuff together or not. Second fight, where do you choose to live at? If you're living like this Chicago, Philadelphia nonsense, you're around all this black perceived pain and this high crime stuff, dude, I don't want to talk to you about anything. You got to grow up. You got to compete like everybody else. Because not being able to do what you actually need to do, most of this stuff is based on finances. None of this stuff that you are locked out on at this point in time. There is a deliberate avoidance of substance in sake of entertainment and comfort and foolishness. If you don't break that generational curse, which you can break yourself, and once you do have your stuff together, you have to stay away from this nonsense. Because a lot of people go get their stuff together and then they go hang around the same idiot people who's not going anywhere. And they're comfortable being the one person who have their stuff together among a slew of individuals who don't. That is a maturation issue. That is not going to be fixed for the self-esteem of voting for one person or another. you're literally trying to move the actual bar from somebody to make you feel better about yourself, then you doing better for your actual self.
I cannot refute that or what you're saying. I won't do that. I won't do that. Like, so, like for me, what I'm seeing is that definitely. But I talked to this one dude while I was working, and he was upset that his father was going to sell the property rather than give it to him. But I asked him, well, if he gives you the property, what do you plan to do with it? He said, well, I'm going to rent it out. I said, well, do you go over there now? He said, nah, I don't. But I'm going to rent it out. I'm going to have the land cleared. But I'm like, if you don't take care of the land now, why is your dad going to give it to you anyway? You're not doing it. Do you know how to work? Do you know how to clear land? You can hire people to do that. That's true. But I'm like, he's going to sell the property, but he knows you're not going to do nothing with it anyway. So rather you end up accumulating the taxes, which I asked him, have you ever paid the taxes on it? He's like, no, I don't do that. My dad does that. So why the hell would he waste his time just giving it to you? This is where I had an issue. He got upset with me, but I told him, nobody's just going to give you something if you're not doing anything with what you got already. If I was an E1, why would they move me on the E2 if I barely can handle the workload as an E1? If Man Tomorrow's fine with just washing the, and I'm gonna say that we had a guy who wanted he wanted to drive truck. He said, "Hey, y'all had an open position. Y'all could have sent me there." I said, "Well, I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna say, John, I never saw you read the book. You're usually on your phone. You're usually out there at the smoke pit. Even when you're supposed to be working, you clock out early and you don't come in on time." Yeah, but I'm just saying, bro, like somebody gave you a shot. Listen what I'm saying. When it's time to get that load and bring it in, that has to be brought in on time. You can't be late with bringing in loads. Nobody's going to check your truck for you. You have to put in the initiative. Okay, but you hiring, he said some derogatory things about other groups, but I'm like, but they come in early, bro. They come in early. They're already heading off to the weigh-in stations. By the time you get here, 2 of them are already left. I can't give you something if you're not going to take the prime initiative. Well, I find it interesting. You as a black man ain't helping me get up. So is that something is it upon Trump or Obama or any black man? Is it upon them to? And I'll probably have a conversation with MOT and Ori about this again. Is it upon others to give other men a leg up in society?
No.
I just made myself the easiest person to coach, man.
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. If somebody gives you something, then that's beneficial. If you're lucky enough to get that, but not necessarily. If you're waiting for somebody to help you, you might be waiting for a long time.
MOT? Is it upon
I'm kind of
you?
2 minds of it.
Is it upon you? Is that upon you to give other men a leg up.
No, I mean, the opportunity is for everybody who can handle it. I mean, I'm not here to go out of my way to have some affirmative action program. Like, we don't have that, culturally speaking, where that's even respected amongst the group. I tell people to go for competence first. And if you can handle it, 10% of whatever you do, you can give that toward incompetent personnel by giving people chances. But don't go off doing that stuff off the rip. You can really ruin your entire everything, giving the wrong type of people chances before dealing with competent people who put the time in, man. So I'm kind of two minds on it. Given that I was, raised in rural Mississippi where there were no type of training programs or any of that, and most people had to leave in order to get the opportunities that they have been given. But I see people in these large ass cities who don't do anything toward any opportunities when they're right in their face and just cross the city. So I say the socialization of letting people know the stuff is out there, and then it's on them whether or not they go engage in it or not. I still will put the option out there, but as in forcing people to do stuff, oh no, oh God, no.
Like I've been there, whereas I was told it's pressed upon me to help my wayward brother.
Wayward, Jesus.
Well, if they don't know that they need to be led, is that upon us as men to bring them in the fold, teach them, preach to them, teach them how to be a certain type of way, or literally that is calling the weak? Or as they say, other groups do it. Now, I would like to know: do other groups do that? Are they carrying those people? Is that something that we need to start doing?
I don't know about carrying is. Yeah, I don't know carrying is the right term, but you can repeat it for Iori.
Say that again, brother.
Yeah, go ahead, Iori.
No.
No. He told you to repeat the analogy.
So what is being said is that the same way as other groups don't mind carrying their wayward, as Black people, it's oppressed upon us to do the same. Is that a fair statement to carry those who don't know how to do for themselves or build themselves?
I wouldn't say carrying the wayward. I would say if this is how I was taught it. Obviously, in the best possible situation, you want each one teach one, right? That's the way we look at it. But the situation is, you can only teach somebody that wants to learn. So if the person wants to learn and he comes to you, or you know him enough to know he actually wants to learn what you're teaching him, then for sure, like it's in your imperative, if you want to teach. But the situation is, you as a teacher aren't necessarily obligated to teach something to someone if they're not willing to actually submit to your teaching. So it's kind of a two-way street. You can teach, but the student want to learn from you as well. And if they don't want to learn from you, then you're not obligated to teach them anything.
I can understand that. No, I can definitely understand that. I had to learn that, and I can also thank a good friend, and thank MOT for that. Joe, stop trying to explain. I used to, that was one of my flaws. You know what I'm saying? Me and Iori had a conversation about that also. Trying to pull people to the promised land is fool. It's a fool's game.
And
I,
you
I,
and you know what I've been dealing with on that, bro. So we gonna keep that under
Yeah,
wraps. But you
yeah,
already know. You already know. But both of y'all already know because I told both of y'all about
yeah.
that. So,
well, one of the issues that I had was I had other men and women. I couldn't get enough seats for the men. So I said, well, we need to expand or we're going to lose stuff. So I started including other men and women, even that were non-black. Well, I thought this was supposed to be a thing for black men. I'm like, but bro, y'all not coming. You can't complain that now you're starting to see women there. Now they're just starting to see other groups of people coming there. So can't the argument is it kind of falls flat if you're complaining about other people going for it, which is very interesting. But that is something I'm seeing that can you complain about other people taking advantages of certain set system, right? Uh, the halfway house. I go down there a lot. I hear this about we trying to make better men. I've been down there plenty of times. They want books, food, deodorant, bars of soap. I know that sounds unappealing to some people, but I took two of them for a job. Hey man, y'all can make $100. I need y'all to cut this grass. Why didn't you get them more than that? Well, they ain't have no job at first. So literally, they in like in an hour and a half, they cleared it out, cut the grass, weed whack, $50 a piece. So that means for 1 hour and a half, they made $50. But some people non-tax, and also gave them lunch. You know what they told me? They weren't ungrateful. They said, if you need any more work, please let us know. So guess what? I got them cutting grass to the lots, weed whacking. They pay me to rent out equipment. BMT, you shouldn't do that. How are you helping them and you're making them pay you to rent the equipment? Well, shit, then they can go buy their own equipment.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I know there's one guy. He washes the mud flaps. He washes the mud flaps and the tires to trucks. That man makes a lot of money. He makes a lot of money.
You should.
Makes a lot of money. I don't see no. I'm gonna be honest, black men. I don't see no black men out there. That is an old goddamn Latin man. He goes there. He uses a pressure washer. He attaches it to a hose. He he pressure washes those tires. It was 100 degrees last week. That motherfucker was out there getting it. Are y'all trying to go out there and do that job? MOT, do you see any black men trying to run out there and go rush from mud flat tires to trucks in the truck yard?
I don't think I've ever seen a black person outside of the South work at any one of those pressure washing places. Now I have seen like the personal, like the truck, kind of like the all-in-one box truck thing. I've seen a lot of people, black on do that, but as in, no. And those places that pull up to your location, that's $250 a stop to pressure wash everything in that parking lot.
And I've seen them. I'm gonna tell y'all right now. I've seen that man go under the truck.
Yeah, you have to.
Yes. That's why I'm gonna let y'all know. I watched him like I was watching National Geographic. He didn't just stand outside the truck. He went up between the tires. So in other words, he was getting dirty. That's where all the real dirt and grime is at.
That caused the most problems for wiring on the frame rail, wiring for the rest of the truck. Some of that stuff can break off and get off into the transmission. Like, it's worth it, man. If people knew the type of problems that stuff could cause, they would know that it's worth it. But then again, that's just where we're at.
Like I said, but Super Mike said he wished he was here for the conversation. I could definitely reach out to MOT and Iori. Like I said, listen, y'all. I'm predominantly only focusing more so on political policies, and pretty much that of like I'm just not trying to have sexy talk. I feel like we're a little bit more past the kindergarten conversations. We're trying to have the real conversation. So if y'all, please stop asking me to talk about, I'll do it here or there. Please stop asking me to talk about.
I can't do it, man. I can't do it, man.
It is 10 years. It's 10 years. It's 10 years old. It doesn't look good that us as we're older men now still talking about goddamn how to get this woman to come back home.
I can't believe I've been here 11 years and these people are still on these bullshit ass conversations. I can't, bro.
I actually got to look. I actually got to look at just how old, like, one of our channels is. I looked at how old one of our channels is. And I was like, Jesus Christ, have we been here this long?
It probably say 7 years at this point, doesn't it?
Yes. As far as being here, it's been more than 7 years.
Right
our
now,
channel,
that started 7 years ago. This month, actually, right after the 4th of July, I think was our first show. 7 years ago.
Yes. And so I look at that. It's kind of iconic that I look at that, and we get to look at the progression of where certain men and ideology and thought. And at this point, it has to be like we have to separate on things.
Yeah, you have to, man. You have to.
It has to. Yeah. So it's nothing personal. I know MOT is if he wants to get into the history and politics and accountability of, we need to talk about the policies. But I don't know why when I try to have it with certain other people, we always get back to talking about goddamn sex and women. I just don't know.
Because it's the only way they can contribute to the conversation.
Yeah,
is that.
I know I've been trying to get to, like, I kid you not, I caught more flack for talking to non-black and not talking about holding women accountable, which I don't know why. I'm being told I need to hold women accountable, but
I'm gonna start bringing women around that I know these dudes can't qualify for. No, women who really do got their stuff together. Women who really do know politics, policy, and history and all that kind of stuff. So that way you can see the type of women that are really out here, and that these dudes claim that they won't, but they know damn well they don't qualify for. So that's what I'm on right now is expanding the actual space, my space, because they've been expanding their space for Dumb Ninja aggregation, and good for them. Showing their true colors about where they at, and I just want to be on some progressive piece, so that way we can go by that way and show where we're at. No big deal, not a problem. We could just keep this thing moving, man. At the end of the day, that's why I stopped using the hashtags and stopped using the keywords, so that way I don't want none of those people from that type of thought process anywhere on my channel anymore. You guys are embarrassing. You don't deserve to be around, man. So that's what I'm on, and just keep doing that.
That's fine. That's fine that we move. We have to move the conversation or the policy of how we want the conversation, even if we had to do it by force. We have to. Like I said, We have to do it by force on certain stuff because, um, listen, man, even Uncle Sam starts saying like, "Hey, man, you're not getting inside my own service. I feed you, I trained you, and yet I gotta just push you out of the military." I watched that. A man who had been stuck at E4 for 15 years. He was crying because he got passed up again for promotion. And they gave him E5 after they chaptered him out of the service. They said, he's like, I find that's unfair. And my brother, who is now at E6 going on to E7, right? Because he came in after me. He said, Joe, you see this bullshit? This man telling me it's unfair that we're chaptering him out. Though we fought to give him E5 on the way out. And the mindset was he's been there for 15 years. In other words, my brother passed him by. I couldn't imagine asking Lieutenant Yori, we got to make him an E5. I couldn't mind asking Man of Tomorrow, a command sergeant, if he was a command sergeant major, please give BNP E5. He's been here for 15 years. He's been stuck at E4 for 15 years.
And the Air Force are called buck sergeants. And then they started kicking them out at 10 years. In 97, they started kicking them out at 10 years. They either had to pass the exam to make E4 or they kicked them out.
So we not in that era. You know what I'm saying? I remember when Obama came in. Oh, there was a lot of people getting kicked out of the military when Obama came in.
Oh, yeah.
That you can't read shit. You don't know what you're doing shit. That can't just use. I passed my PT test. That wasn't enough anymore at that point.
Yeah, no, man, you had to go. You didn't want to go through Airman Leadership School. You couldn't make E5, and you wanted to flounder there at E4, so that way you wouldn't have to, supervise anybody or take any additional responsibility. Hell yeah, they got rid of your ass. They gave you 3 years. That was his first term. That's why a lot of people in the military didn't like Obama. 3 years, your ass had to move up. You had access to this actual book about the Air Force. You could have read it if you want to, and if you couldn't, you had to get out.
Yep, I definitely
get
remember
on
that.
About your business.
I definitely remember that. I had a friend that was in the service. He got chaptered out of the Air Force. I said, dude, what's wrong? He said, I don't get it. I qualify at the range. I can shoot, all that stuff. I said, yeah, but I ain't gonna lie, your academia is low. Believe it or not, we got to be on point with our academia in the military. You have to be able to read. You got to be able to read this stuff, man. Like, I don't feel comfortable with you in the Bradley and you can't read. I don't feel comfortable you arresting somebody and you don't know the goddamn your rights. And your rights as a civilian and your rights as a soldier are two different things. Yes, I've seen it happen. Literally, somebody argued that. And he said, okay, cool. Where you know where you're standing right now? You're standing on the military installation. Congratulations. Your ass is going to JAG, which technically he was already going to go. So he said, well, shit, I'm getting out the military anyway. You don't get out until
it's time for your ass to go.
Yep. He said, you got 72 more hours. Until then, you are still a soldier. That captain said, we still own your ass. So you may be chaptering out, but we got you. So this is why I said reading is fundamental. and I'm all for it. Actually, that's another conversation that was requested of me from a TikTok handler. Is it right that we're allowing immigrants into the military?
That's how you
Iori,
normally got your citizenship.
Iori, let me know if you want to be there for that one. That's going to be a really good one. But I'm hearing from a lot of buckshot people that is a what is it? What did they say? It was like it's something against security, national security, that we're putting too many in the military.
Man, look.
Well,
If they knew some of the special forces were heavily staffed with Dominicans and Puerto Ricans and people from American Samoa, it's like, man, they just don't know what they're talking about, man. They just don't know.
To be perfectly honest with you, brother, like this doesn't surprise me, because Dick Durbin was talking about this being a possibility like about 2 years ago.
Make them join, make them serve, they get their full citizenship rights, and I'm all for it. I'm all for it.
And his argument was, our numbers are low, we need more numbers, they willing to play ball, so they join, they serve their time, and they pretty much get legal status. That's what his idea was.
If we allow known white supremacists to join the actual military itself, and they don't have any problems, I don't see any problems with Latinos joining, because look, I don't want you to pass the test. I want you to pass the test and have served. Both. And then, like, once they do serve, and then people are like, oh, well, how come they can get a VA home loan? And I'm like, all right, man, you could just never win with these dudes. This is why you just keep moving and don't even worry about the complaints of people who ain't participating. Don't worry about it.
That was a thing. That was a thing. We did have a lot of supremacists in the military. And there actually were too many of them. I didn't know they had a whole ring of the motherfuckers.
They always do.
That was
we knew it.
That was in Kuwait, 2015. They came inside the barracks, pulled 3 guys out. By the time they were done, they had a fucking goddamn. They had 5 MRAPs full of them. They must have been surveillancing them for
a while. Yeah, for a while, years probably.
So they had the ledger, they had the names, they had their meeting spots. I mean, you had people with rank in there. Well, they take your rank when they get you. But I didn't know that these people were right around me. I'm like, Jesus Christ, you too?
See, the thing is that, like, when I was in late 90s, early 2000s, you knew who they were, but it was kind of like the don't ask, don't tell people. You knew who they were. That wasn't really pretty explicit with it. And then they got explicit with it and kind of messed it up for everybody else. But yeah, you knew who these people were. And I'm going to tell you, those people knew why they were there. They did not cause a whole bunch of problems. They needed to be called on to do something. They actually did it. And then they went on about their business like everybody else. But after 9/11, they started lowering the actual requirements for people to get in. And then that's when you had people who didn't want to keep shit under wraps. And that's how they got messed it up for everybody.
Yes, I agree on. I saw.
Yep.
I arrested one soldier for taking the life of a. He at the time, and I explained it to them. Listen, if the enemy puts down his weapon and he surrenders, under no circumstance can you pop him on the ground. He's already been treated by the medic. He's sitting there with his back against the wall, zip tied up. You're asking, and you went over there and you popped him in the back of the head and said, well, he's a terrorist.
executed him. Yeah, okay. Some of that confirmed kill bullshit.
You know, they said, well, Sarge, bruh, he's a terrorist. I'm just exercising my American duty. And I said, well, I'm going to exercise mine. You two men, relieve him of his rifle. As of today, you are no longer part of the U.S. military.
Yeah,
you are no longer.
You gotta go, man.
Yeah, you got to go, dude. You got to go, dude. This guy didn't even try to fire back. We just knew he was he didn't even try to fight back. He just said, I'll go with y'all. So you took a life. And what was worse, and these six tried to say, hey, Johnson, that's bullshit. You're going to arrest one of our own? Do I need to arrest you? Then get the fuck out of my face. He just committed murder in front of 32 other men. The fuck we can't say that, but we just put it on the comms that we have a enemy that is detained. So what the fuck you think they're going to be looking for? Bring him back.
Yeah, man. You got distribution to turnover, or you got a +1. Show up and you ain't got a +1. All right, man. Okay.
We do forensics here. We do forensics here. If you didn't know better, Billy Bob.
All that shit over like a lot of people don't understand that all that stuff said over the radio is recorded by a whole bunch of people, not just one person, not just your unit.
That is on a recorded line where the operator you're talking to, not just them are listening. There are higher ups that are sitting there in a room listening
to every word on every channel. That's said on every channel, not just the one you're on, every channel.
And yes, some of them go back to down the range that they're listening to. So they need to know, hey, was there not? So when another unit says, hey, we heard fire, we heard shots on your side, well, I'm supposed to lie to like other units. Hey, we just shot it, just shoot. No, dude. No, fuck that. I lied. Now I'm in the break with you. No. We just, mind you, I'm gonna tell you this right now. I told the guy, you told them nothing happened. Now you're gonna have to explain before a full bird, why'd you lie on the comms? Nothing happened. It's a sad day when your own will turn against you. You just told a full bird and men in a talk, nothing happened. Harry, think about what you just said. You are possibly going to be going to jail also for this guy.
Well, yeah, man. Cool. Yeah, man, put your hands behind your back.
Put your hands behind your back. Put your hands behind your back. I want you to know, them MPs are waiting for you too. They will be waiting they will be coming to your room. Well, you know what's crazy thing? You know the bad thing about the MOT? Harry is a state trooper in South Carolina. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Again, I didn't have no smoke when Obama said, "Hey, we gotta clean up the military." I understood that. Yeah, we definitely got to clear up the military. A lot of these systems need to be cleaned up. They do.
Because the many motivated troops that they turn down and that they kick out for no reason, there's tons of people who's in there that don't belong there. Tons of them. Hey, I'm not worried about it. Listen, man, because obviously these people are just, even if they do go into the military, they're just not going to be just out there. You know, just out there for under no supervision or any of that, because, you know, they're pretty staffed up with the high ups or whatever. I think it's a good idea. I think it is. And I'm not trying to hear about these non-progressive men who just want things handed to them. Like, hey, man, I'm not trying to engage with people who's not a part of the process. I have no respect for ignorant ass individuals who don't understand what's going on. I have no respect for individuals who want to leverage somebody else's participation for their own sacrosanct. I have no respect for any of that stuff, and I'm not going to let them get their stuff off. There are places within this space where you can go for that type of political ignorance and just getting your ish off. But other than that, man, I don't want nothing to do with these dudes. None at all.
Agreed. I'll definitely be talking to you guys later about that. And definitely that'll probably be a 45-minute conversation about yeah, I just, like I said, that was something that was requested about should immigrants be allowed into social government, local government, and federal government. And is that not something that is dangerous that they're having access towards that? I mean, they're bringing up that, well, they're in California and they're doing stuff illegal. I was like, okay, like,
come on, man.
So, and we'll just put it under the scalpel of the knife, and we will figure it out. We'll just have to figure it out. Again, I'm not gonna tell y'all. I'm just saying, man. I if you already applied for the job for town council, but if you already applied for a job for town council, me or MOT can get mad.
Yeah.
I can't get mad. We do have a guy who's on the school board. He's Pakistani. He's Pakistani.
Okay.
They felt like he didn't need to be there. I asked a simple question. Why? He literally is a whole mathematician. He taught in college. He taught math. He taught in college trigonometry and different other stuff. I don't see why would he not be on the school board. He has 5 kids. They're all in college. That guy
Same
was
stuff
there.
they used to do to us. Same stuff they used to do to us 60 years ago. We're trying to do to the next group of people who just got here. Unbelievable.
I was just saying, dude. I was just asking. I was like, he had 5 kids in college, bro. Like yeah, that is going to be a good conversation. What's going on, Exile? I'll see you guys later. Let me go and go to Walmart before it closes. I'm going to see y'all guys. Peace.
All right, cool. You have a nice one.